Welcome to Cracking Up a Code One. I'm John.
I'm Albert.
And I'm Richard. Today's topic is how has social media affected society?
I think it influences the things that many people do, such as like people follow trends.
This is more like they follow like what the celebrities do. People like in
or what they have to say. Like
Clout.
some, you know how some celebrities get like real political, but they don't know much about like politics and stuff. But
they start swaying people to believe certain things without doing their research.
They influence people to think about certain topics, and then people are misinformed, and then they're just spreading it, and it spreads out of control. So that's probably one of the problems we have with social media.
Yeah, I see that. Without really getting like too political, like for example, a couple of news sources, like when they spread out a story, giving it like what they think is true without having all the facts and having to spin out on them.
It's not even news sources. I think it's just that people see it and they believe it. Like if it's
true,
if it leads to a website, they're
fake
like,
news.
Oh, it must be true. Like if it takes you to a page, it must be true. So I think it just depends on people
fake news
having to rely on different sources. Like if you see something, just go on different platforms and look it up and see if it's actually true.
I think it's actually done for the better. I mean, we can just touch of a button, search on Google, and figure everything out. So there's so many things you can find now, whether it be like how to ride a motorcycle, how to do stocks, how to do this, how to do that. You can just click a button and you're there. There's information
again, like,
everyone. Of
if
course, you do need to like
through your Twitter feed. You see a link, and then that's probably all you're seeing. You're most likely you're not gonna go off to another page and like search it up.
Oh, so what I think is
what are you
is like,
talking about? What are you talking about?
I'm just saying, like, let's say like a certain news, like some people like spread news that's probably not even real.
That's why you gotta look for like reliable sources, though.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's what he said.
You just didn't.
Are you still confused?
I'm confused because I just brought some new topic up and we just went back to another topic. But go ahead.
What topic was it?
Just information being everywhere. And it's just like
that's the issue. That information is everywhere, and you don't know the difference between what's real.
I guess it's hard. It's hard for some for some people to decipher what's real from fake. I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
What's like real propaganda versus like fake propaganda?
What do you think?
So I think social media is really good because it's one of the most powerful tools business people can use, or not even just business people, but anyone can use to market whatever they want to put out.
Or what's good about it is that it's instant. So something happens, you post
and it's free.
And it's instant.
And for example, I'm pretty sure 99% of the people watching right now, the way they clicked onto here or the way they found out of our podcast is through our social media. If I'm not correct,
That's
true.
true.
If I'm correct, other than that, probably just word of mouth or something like. One of our moms or parents or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like back in the days, what would you have to do to send an email? Instead of an email, it'd be a freaking bird flying
pager, telegraph,
a little note on there, you know.
Also, the way I see it though, especially kind of like with Snapchat now, like IG with the stories.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just like for me, I'm doing some. I mean, even it's not cool, but I just like kind of posting something I'm doing throughout my day, whether it's me like cooking something I made. Or just like a song that I like not specifically posting it like on my actual feed, but like on my story that only lasts like 24 hours.
Yeah.
So you kind of
just kind of just kind of to share with other people without actually really like intrusively like.
How's that done anything to affect society though? What do you think affected society with that? Who cares about?
I feel like
the song you like. You know,
it's pretty. I mean, it's pretty tough to.
I feel like people are just more. People are more social in a way.
No.
Okay, are you gonna let me finish what I'm gonna say?
I explain what you're gonna say.
Okay, go ahead.
People are friends, but they're not friends. They just have each other as friends on that social media. They're not even as social as they used to be. Because back then, to talk to someone, you'd have to go up to them. And
you're guilty of that too, though, right?
I am guilty of that, but that's exactly why I'm saying we're not as social. I'm like personally, I think I'm a person that'd rather be like talking to a person. Even over the phone rather than texting or messaging. I'd rather see them in person rather than texting them and messaging them. Because I think that shit's pointless, dude.
Then why do you use it?
I guess to network.
But it's pointless.
talking to people, like you said, socializing. Okay, maybe pointless was the bad word to use, but my point is,
I mean, it's useful in a sense, but
yeah, it's
For me,
useful,
you can't
but you can't say
you
that
can't
it's-
be you can't
people
be
are more
everywhere.
social now.
You can't be everywhere at the same, like where all your friends are, for example, or people you know that you talk to, not on a regular basis, but every like week or so, that you
that's true.
keep in touch with, and like, for example, like someone like you when we're trying to get you to come here so you can shoot so we can shoot the podcast, we're like where's this dude at, and we check on his story, he's like he's in Ventura at a shoe store. We're like, oh, okay, that's where he's at, you know,
Yeah, that's true.
things like that too, like small things,
Yeah. So
and then also I mean.
it just keeps you better connected.
Yeah,
So people are
I
now-
think it just
society is
it just
just more
connects you.
connected now.
It just connects you to everyone.
connected, as in
But it doesn't mean they're
Uh,
gonna talk to you every day.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that
connected
either.
in a different sense.
It
though.
it doesn't mean that every follower you have or every friend you have has to be your actual friend in person.
I
Yeah.
think that ease
True.
of connectivity or being able.
But what's the point
to,
of having that person as a friend in one thing if you're not even going to talk to them at all?
I think it depends on like what social media you're using. Like for instance, you're on Instagram. You don't really care about like who your followers are. And
So then why you follow them? Why do you have them follow you?
I mean,
Clout.
how is it cloud? It's just
Bro, if someone follows me and I look, they don't seem kind of I guess weird or something. I'll accept. I'll follow them back. Nothing wrong with that. Not really because of clout. Well,
Yeah.
what's really on my social media that is gonna give me clout? Nothing.
No, I'm not just saying you in specific. I'm just
Well, like
saying
I'm just
in
putting myself
specific,
in
because I feel
as
like a
an
lot of
example.
social media is just for people to like
to
make
fake
them
stuff.
fake it, man. Like people want to make themselves feel like there's someone.
Well,
like there's
obviously
someone. They
they're
want
only going to
attention.
show their good side, not the bad side.
Or like in general, people just go out there to give out like who they are just for like, just because everyone wants to be the center of attention.
That's debatable for some people.
Most people.
That's real specific and really small percentage of the population.
You
I
think
would
so?
say.
I would think a lot of people on like
A
Twitter,
lot of the people I follow.
Instagram.
Oh, who do you follow on Twitter that's like that? Don't say names, but
Not too many people, but maybe more so.
I only see a couple.
well,
There's a
what,
lot of
what,
there
what
are
okay,
people.
what are the type of people that you follow on Twitter that are like that?
The mass majority of people that I know. Well, most of the people that I on Twitter.
Because I know
like
when
they are for that.
when you follow someone on Twitter or when you like their picture, you don't know them for the most part.
Not all of them, but yeah, like that's what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm
So
saying.
so
People are
why
just
so
out
why
there
would so why do you do it?
for-
If it's not for networking.
If it's not for networking, probably just to show off exactly, kind of like I wouldn't say clout, but yeah, to show off. Like, look I just got a new pair of shoes. Look at me, I'm whipping in a Beamer. Look at me, I'm on my motorcycle today. Like, what are you doing?
Okay, I see you.
Just I guess like just I wouldn't want to say I'm like more narcissistic type vibe, but I mean I do want to get myself out there, like kind of portray myself as somebody that I like, kind of portray who I am, I guess, someone that I can show to social media, because obviously what I am on social media isn't 100% what I am in.
Well, no one is
Here.
100% on social media.
So you think it's transforming people to make themselves feel some type of way?
I
about
think people
themselves?
on social media just want to show what they want, like the best in life, not what actually happens, like what's going on.
Nah, I disagreed with that.
Yeah.
There's people on Twitter always talking about how they're crying and this and that, and they're all heartbroken.
But do you think it's really because they're feeling that way, or they just want attention?
I think they might, and they just have no one to talk to, so they throw it out there on Twitter, and maybe they want some attention.
But then it comes in like
right?
they have all those followers and they had to put it out there. They couldn't text anyone or not. Like, makes you think.
Or attention. Yeah, I'd say so.
I don't know. I feel like we're just being
I'm being
How
real
would I
blunt
say it?
about it, bro. I'm being like real.
not blunt, but we're just generalizing it too much. Because for some
Yeah,
people
it's
like
very
that,
broad.
because for some people like that, you don't really know if they're actually going through a bad day, and they don't really want to talk to anyone at all. But they're just kind of like putting it out there, you know.
No, I feel.
I mean, if I'm
there's-
having a bad day, I personally wouldn't put anything.
I mean, you don't. You
Exactly.
I mean, you barely really go on and post
yeah,
anything.
I don't even
You're.
post
It's a rare
anything, yeah.
occurrence for you to even like post something, you know.
Yeah.
I think. I'm gonna go off
Like
what John
someone
was
could.
saying.
Some people could even just post like a song, that's like, for example, explaining like the way their day's going or how they're
Mhm.
feeling, without really saying like too much, you know.
I would have to throw on what John said. I mean, like how he said, he has a bad day. He's not gonna go out and say anything about it. Like I post a lot, and I post a lot more than he does at least.
Yeah.
And I still wouldn't do
I
that.
post like once every month. Maybe
once a month. No, well, I post at least a tweet a day. I mean, or I wouldn't really use Instagram as much. I use more Snapchat and Twitter, but even on Twitter, I still use it more often than John. Maybe even you too. But I still wouldn't post when I'm having a bad day. I mean, like I'm just gonna bring it up. Like when I had my motorcycle crash, I could have been like, you know, everywhere with that. I could have said like, oh, look at this happened and this happened. I'm sad. Someone give me attention. I'm crying for help, crying for attention. But I didn't.
But at the same time, is that really kind of crying for attention? Like, why do you always put your good stuff? Is that for attention when you put the good stuff and not also the bad stuff?
No, it's not always.
So what's the difference in that?
I guess it's just a way of expressing myself.
'Cause,
man,
like,
to be honest,
Because I'm not sure if I said it before, like one of my mentors back in school, at least on Instagram on a story, I remember him posting that he failed a midterm.
Mhm.
It was a really hard midterm that he failed, like for mechanical engineering, and he said that he was going to post, basically all his work that he did on his midterm, which was basically ended up being not much because he didn't really know much. That's why he failed the entire midterm, and he said that he was going to post his journey on his way to basically studying for the next midterm, everything he was going to do, regardless of what the outcome was, whether it was a good grade or bad grade. He was just going to post everything, the good and the bad. And he did. I mean, he ended up getting a good grade, a lot better. He got like a B or so, but
oh man,
I wouldn't say that's like clout either. I feel like that's kind of more encouraging people.
Yeah, it serves as
So I
motivation.
So I feel like we can't really like be too
to like
general, like
specific.
yeah, we can't really just generalize everyone.
yeah,
You know?
I feel
Yeah.
you.
that's true. We don't really know that.
Because
that many
honestly,
people
you
either
don't
to do
know
that.
them either,
Yeah,
so you don't really know what their intentions are with that.
I would say there's like with everything, there's goods and bads, and just that same way, there is a good and bad with social media and how
You
it's
think
affected
people
us in
are-
general. I think it's just
You think people depend on it too much?
hell yeah. How many people do you know anyone that just
Oh, I
spends
feel
all
like-
their day on social media?
I feel like the people that do would be more like influencers and stuff like that. That would depend on it. Because if there was no social media, like, well, how would they really like market the things that they're being paid to?
But then
influence?
that's different though, because then that would be more like promoters and stuff,
Yeah.
marketers, people that are marketing something, because they know a lot of when social media came out, that's how a lot of marketers did their thing on social media. Like I forgot what podcast I was listening to, but it was someone who used like when Instagram first came out, Tumblr, Twitter, and they used that just to start up their marketing career, and it was a big thing for them, and it still is a big thing for people. People look up like what is there Yelp now? There's Google.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's out there, man. I would throw that.
I
in
feel
there.
like in general, it's been a lot more good, way more good than bad. I mean, there are other bad stuff on there, but for me, it's been a lot more good. I don't know. I feel like for me personally too, it's been more good. For like the podcast itself, it's been more good than bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just do you guys have anything else to say about that?
No, I think that wraps it up for this
kind of
one.
wraps it up.
Yeah.
man.
Just let us know what you guys think down below in the comments, and let us know if any points we didn't touch on that you kind of.
And share your thoughts about
yeah,
what you
exactly.
think about social media and how it's affected society that we live in today.
And also, we're gonna have all the links to just the audio for what was it
Podcast for like Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
and things like that down below too. But other than that, you guys don't have anything else to say. That's a wrap.
That's it.
All right, y'all. Deuces.